Hello there friends, and welcome to Abe's Music School. Today I thought we could start talking a little bit about the circle of fifths. If you search on YouTube or other places for information about the circle of fifths, you will find a lot of mnemonic memory rules for how to remember the circle, but I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to build it from scratch. Remember the power chord? The C is on the 3rd fret here. That means the next note is on the 5th fret on the next string. This only works for the 4 bottom strings, right? Because the 5th string is tuned differently. So let's just start playing fifths, starting at C and until we get back to C. Okay, this note here is same as this, 1 octave down. Okay, this note here, same as this. What's that? That's an E, yeah. What's that? That's an F. And back to C. Alright, and now let's think about the names of these notes. C, G, that's a D, A, E, B. Now, that's not the white note on the piano, it's between F and G, so let's call it F sharp. That's between C and D, so we can call it D flat or C sharp, but let's call it D flat. That's between G and A, so let's call it A flat. That's 1 below E, so let's call it E flat. What note is this? That's B flat. And here we have an F. Now we're back on the white notes, so we're soon completed the circle. We're back on C. Alright, so take a look at those notes at the piano now. So if we start at C and C is 0, and we put all the notes in a table from 0 to 11. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And when we come to 12, we've gone all around the clock. We're back at 0 again, the C note. Play the 5th, it goes from C to, which was the 5th. And how many half notes is that? That's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we put all the notes 0 to 11 in a table, all the possible notes, and then whenever we pass C, go past C, we start over at 0 again. That's called modular arithmetics or clock arithmetic, because it's a lag clock. Whenever you pass 12, you start over at 0. Yeah, so you can actually put the formula if you for the next fifth. It's the current note, which in this case is 0, plus 7 mod 12. Mod means that when you get to 12, you start over at 0. So 0, 7, and go 7 up from here, from the G note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's that? It's 2 above C. That's 2. If you count mod 12. You get it? So the pointer at the clock now points at 2 o'clock. And then we just continue. Plus 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we get the next note, so it's an A. Yeah, 9. And now, using the second clock, at 12 o'clock we start writing it down C. Then we write at 1 o'clock the 5th of C, and at 2 o'clock the 5th of G, and so on. C, G, D, A, E, B, and so on, until we get back to C. Then we should be back at 12 o'clock. And we played all the notes, but in a completely different order. And this is actually, if you study mathematics in number theory, it's not strange. it's called a group, mathematical group. You go through all the numbers, but not in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 order. And there we have it, the circle of fifths. And the outer ring here with the uppercase, the capital letters, they are the major chords or major keys, depending on how you see it. A minor is the relative minor key of C major. And C major is the relative major of A minor. So if you count the number of frets, 1, 2, 3 frets down. And that goes for all of those in the outer circle. 3 frets down is the minor key. So let's write those in. In the C major scale is the 1 chord or tonic. 1 step to the counterclockwise, you have an F, that's a subdominant. And 1 step to the clockwise, you have the G, it's a dominant, or the 5 chord. So you have the 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 1 chord. Yeah, that's the basic 3 chord song, right? For instance, this one. Na 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 na, I wanna be sedated. And now let's just shift the pie slice 1 step to the right. G suddenly is the tonic. C is the subdominant and D is the dominant, right? La 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 la, I wanna be sedated. And counterclockwise, then we have what? F is the tonic. And the subdominant is
B flat.
And dominant is C. Back to F. I wanna be sedated. And you see, using the same pattern within the pie slice here, the 1, the 4, the 5 chord, you can translate it into any key. And in fact, if you want to write down the keys, sheet music, if you turn it 1 step, if you have it straight up, C or A minor is the key, there's no sharps, no flats. If you turn it 1 step clockwise, you have 1 sharp. If you turn it 1 step counterclockwise, you have 1 flat. If you turn it 2 steps clockwise, you have 2 sharps. 2 steps counterclockwise, you have 2 flats. And so on. So as you can see, the circle is very useful in many use cases, and this is only the beginning. See you next time!